Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Taking care of business. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now, Captain Finance himself, Sully.
What is going on? Another great day here in the Loft 100 studios, and welcome to the Big Biz Show. We are broadcasting, emanating out of beautiful, sunny, soon-to-be cooler Southern California. I am Costa, our boy Sully, Captain Finance. Little dent in his cape. He's under the weather, but he will be back very, very soon. We wish him the best. Of course, Mary Bird Godwin at the bar as usual, and that doesn't sound good. Mary Bird Godwin.
Not for 8.5 years.
Sorry. Mary Bird Godwin throwing up in her shoes as usual. No. Mary Bird Godwin.
That was the old me.
That's the old we, the old you with us here, and of course our executive producer, Greg Todoroff. Do you guys, can you think back to when you were part of, or maybe you weren't part, as far as Greg is concerned, you guys as well, planning or being part of planning your wedding? Obviously.
I just found the address list or the invite list because I was going through my mom's things at her house, and I found this old document. It was like the very first form of a Word Excel spreadsheet. Yeah. And it was like had all my notes on who said yes and what they gave me. It was like all printed out. It's not crazy. Speaking
of weddings, Tim Wrightman, former UCLA Bruin, Chicago Bears Super Bowl winner, owns a great ranch, Lazy Bear Ranch, up in Idaho, and they hold weddings there, along with hunting and stuff. He'll be on coming up next.
Nice.
The reason I asked is that, I'm kind of, it's got to be a good wedding, man. I want to know beforehand, food, venue, who's going. That type of thing.
There's some criteria for you to attend.
It is, and it's
how many toasts are there going to be?
Exactly. Band or DJ? It's a day trader trio going to be playing.
Yeah, band or DJ, that's a good question.
That's what I want to know. We're invited to a wedding in October. There are 10 bridesmaids, and there are 10...
I had 10 bridesmaids. I did.
Did you have 10 groomsmen?
I got a lot of friends, yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Are you
I have
serious?
a lot of friends. Yeah. No, maybe I had 9. 3 from before. Yeah, I had 9. Yeah.
Do you remember how?
I don't know.
Okay.
You don't remember?
Greg's off. I'm not even married.
No, I'm not sure I was. Not sure I was there.
You didn't plan it. You didn't show up. But you got a ring on your finger.
I got that.
Okay, there you go.
Just grab your penguin outfit and be there on this date at this time. My wife, she had her best friend as her maid of honor, and I had 2 best men. I had my brother and my future brother-in-law, her brother. And we had a very, very small ceremony, and then we had kind of like just a big party reception the next night. We did a Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
But this thing has taken on a life of its own. And it is...
Is it a destination wedding?
No, it's here in town. Okay. Well, yeah, because there's people coming in from all...
But it's not like in Tahiti or some...
Oh, God, no. No, like them, but don't like them that much.
Okay.
I'm not. No, I'm not flying.
Destination wedding.
So am I getting? You're not excited about this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes
are you coming down with the black lung yourself?
Sometimes you get those wedding invitations, and it feels like you got an invoice in the mail.
Maybe the greatest thing that's ever been said on this show.
That was really
It is so true.
And you think, man, and you want my time?
Right. Right. And you got to come on a Saturday?
Yeah, you got to blow a Saturday in the fall when there's football on.
When there's football on. Yep.
But you're right.
That's asking a lot.
Gas.
The whole deal.
Hotel.
Yep.
And then
there's the gift. And then
the gift.
And I was looking at the friggin' registry.
Yeah.
And it's just...
A registry, this is a really good topic because I'm just looking at all this stuff I got from my wedding, like crystal bowls and all these things
that you never use.
Yeah.
So, but now people are saying put money towards my honeymoon or put money towards, and I'm down with that because
all right.
Do you do that? Do you give towards people's honeymoons as a present?
I guess I probably would.
Yeah. Oh boy. We'll continue.
Or would you rather give them a crystal bowl?
Tim Wrightman, Super Bowl champion. Coming up next, right here, The Big Biz Show. Welcome back to the Big Biz Show. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, the whole family here appreciates you being along for the ride. I'm Costa. Normally, I'm sitting where Mary Burt Godwin is sitting today. Mary Burt Godwin here. Our executive producer, Greg Todoroff, is here as well. Sully under the weather. Hopefully he will be back soon. And he's going to be bummed because he's missing our next guest. Yeah. Our next guest was a member of the UCLA Bruins football team. He was not only a football All-American, but he was also an academic All-American. And then he went on to greatness with the Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears when they completely annihilated the Patriots in Super Bowl 20. And now he is the owner of the Lazy Bear Ranch in Idaho. And we are proud to welcome Mr. Tim Wrightman to the Big Biz Show for the first time. Tim, how are you, man?
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great. Way to underachieve in your life, buddy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. A few more things to do. A few more things to do, yeah.
You had 65 scholarship offers out. Where was high school first?
I went to a really small high school in San Pedro, California.
Okay, so you're a California kid.
Yeah, it was. It's called Mary Star of the Sea. 2 years before I got there, it was an all-girls school. So the population of the school was 300 girls and 100 boys. So, at least my odds of going to the senior.
All the men in the room are clapping right now. Just take note of that. Am I the only God?
Tim, you got to love that ratio. As a businessman, you got to love that.
We only had about 25 kids on the football team, but we would play, really big schools. We'd play schools where the band had more members than our football team. But it was interesting that I got noticed. I had a really great head coach in high school, was like a father to me, and he started seeing my talent as a sophomore. So he started writing letters and responding to letters and stuff like that to other schools, and I was fortunate enough to be a good student. So I had a lot of scholarship offers to, D3 schools academically and, Ivy League schools and stuff like that. But being a mama's boy that I was, that I had to stay in Southern California. So it came down to either, SC or UCLA. And Notre Dame was in the mix too. But at the time, Dan Devine was a head coach at Notre Dame. And he was very eccentric, let's just say that.
Gotcha. So you go to UCLA. Were you under Terry, or was Pepper still there?
Terry Donahue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go. Obviously, you have a successful playing career. You're an academic All-American as well. The Chicago Bears, and you find yourself a Super Bowl champion. I mean, that is a story Hollywood would embrace any day of the week.
At the right time. Yeah, a lot of it, I've known Dan Marino since he was, 18. I was his host at UCLA when he was thinking about coming out there. And, he played in the Super Bowl but never won. So I feel very fortunate that you're in the right place at the right time, especially with that team. Historically, it's been called, the greatest team in football history. Not by us, but by NFL Films. So there's so many great players on that team. And interestingly enough, whenever people find out that I played for the 85 Bears, the first person they always ask about is, you want to guess who the first person is?
Sweetness.
The fridge?
No, it's got to be Sweetness, right?
Who said the fridge?
I said the fridge.
You said the fridge?
The fridge. That's the first person they want to know about. Then the second person is who?
Sweetness.
No.
Dent?
Jim McMahon.
McMahon. Remember McMahon? He was controversial. He wore the headband, the whole deal.
And then they'll say, gosh, there were some other guys on that team that were really good.
That's hilarious.
You mean Mike Singletary? Oh yeah, Hall of Fame. Mike Singletary. Like Dan Hampton? Oh yeah, Dan Hampton, Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And then we had a guy named Walter Payton.
Sure.
So I mean, and then there's been two other guys.
Steve McMichael.
Steve McMichael recently, just this last year in August, last month, but also Jimbo Covert, who was an offensive tackle from Pitt on that team. So there's been a lot of Hall of Fame guys from that team, that's just, and well deserved.
Yeah,
I mean, that was an awesome team, and too bad that we couldn't have gotten a couple more Super Bowls, but it wasn't meant to be.
Mary?
Is this when the SNL skit came out and it was the
Bears?
They were talking about this. I feel like that was around the
they did the Super Bowl shuffle. His team was unbelievable.
Yeah.
We did things that brought non-football watchers into the game.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
with the Super Bowl shuffle and the SNL skits and all that stuff. It was just, and Ditka used to call us characters with character. So everybody on that team had their own character, and they had so many. Even I had like my own radio show, and it trickled down, all the so everybody had something going on with commercials or shows or that sort of thing. But at that period, nobody got into trouble. I think that the person who got in the most trouble was Ditka. He had a DUI coming home after we beat the 49ers out there.
Yeah.
He was happy on the trip home from San Francisco.
So Tim, San Pedro kid, UCLA, Chicago Bears Super Bowl champion, and then obviously the natural evolution of your story. You now own a beautiful ranch in Idaho, the Lazy Bear Ranch. First off, tell us how you came to become the owner of it, and then explain just how awesome this place is. We've been looking at the pictures online.
Thanks.
We've got to do a show up there. I'm talking.
I think so.
Yeah. I want to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a remote show. We can do a whole weekend show.
Perfect.
So anyway, how it happened, I found Idaho through my dad. My dad, the story is that before I was born, he was elk hunting in Montana with two of his buddies, and they were driving back down to Southern California. They were too drunk to drive any further, the story goes. So they pulled into this little town, Weiser, and they went into a bar and they met this cowboy there. And he asked them if they had brought their shotguns because he had some, game birds on his property that needed to be thinned out. And my dad that was kind of unbelievable that somebody would just invite them to go, hunt. And he leaves. And my dad asked the manager of the little bar there, he says, "That guy on the level?" And the bartender says, "No, that guy's one of the biggest BSers in the county. He doesn't have a little place. He's got about 12,000 acres.
Oh.
So my dad went up there and hunted with that guy, became friends with him. And my dad, he invited him to come back. Anytime you want to hunt, Jack, just, let me know and you can camp in my corrals up here. So my dad retired. He was a longshoreman on the waterfront in San Pedro. He worked for, I think it was Marine Terminals for a long time in Long Beach and in San Pedro. And then when he retired up here to this little town. After I was done playing football, I started visiting him. I did that for about 9 or 10 years. And I just said, I want to buy property up here. So I bought my first acreage up here. And then I just really got sick of California. I couldn't stand the traffic anymore. I was in a business that after football, I was a working actor for about 12 or 13 years and did 25 TV shows as a guest star, co-star, and about that many national commercials. But I just got sick of the whole thing, the traffic and the people. And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I decided to move up here. And from nothing, it was just barren ground. And I just started building. I built my lodge first, and then I had no idea what I was going to do. And it just kind of has grown organically, over the past 25 years. I planted every tree on the property.
Wow.
That you're looking at a motel there. I built that motel so I can have guests out here. It's a 12-room motel. It's not the Bates Motel, but it's a 12. I go, that kind of looks like the Bates Motel.
Yeah, right.
Tim Wrightman, the owner of the Lazy Bear Ranch. Find out all about his property at lazybearranch.com. Just from the website alone. Are you busy all year round, not only with hunting and fishing, but events, things like that?
Yeah, I'll start my hunting the first part of October, and we specialize in pheasant hunts. And the greatest thing that I can tell you, that compliment that I've gotten is from the old time Idaho guys that, grew up hunting here. And they say, Tim, this is as close to a wild bird hunt as we've ever seen. And that's a great compliment. We went through about 5,000 rooster pheasants last year.
Wow.
Each year we get more and more people coming out to hunt with us. As the population of Idaho grows, all the habitat for pheasant seems to be diminishing. So it creates more opportunities for us in our business. But then 8 years ago, I started doing weddings here, and it seems like every weekend from May through the first part of October, we have weddings here. So
it looks absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to come up there for the weekend worth of Big Biz Show.
Yep.
That we will arrange very shortly. Tim, come back on the show again, please. So much more to talk about.
Okay, buddy.
Tim Wrightman, owner of the Lazy Bear Ranch. Check it out. LazyBearRanch.com. It's awesome. More Big Biz after this. It is the Big Biz Show live from the Loft 100 studios. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, we appreciate you being with us for this very, very fun program. Mary Godwin is here. Our executive producer, Greg Todorov, is here. I'm Costa. Normally Sully's here, but he's under the weather. He will be back soon. And we love it when we were able to get our guests in studio. First-time guests as well. And joining us right now, he is the founder, CEO of Back 40 Dogs, and his name is Jack Cole. Mr. Cole, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
San Diego native?
San Diego, born and raised.
Hey.
Yep.
You too?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's not many of us left.
Yeah. No.
James East is one too.
James, are you native San Diegan?
Yeah. We were born at the same hospital. I don't know how I know that, but
God bless you. Jack, how does Back 40 Dogs come about?
Yeah, it's a great question. I came from a very entrepreneurial family.
Okay.
So a lot of kind of just being raised up in that environment.
Sure.
And went to school at Cal Poly for business. And
Go
always,
Mustangs.
Yeah, go Stangs. And always just been a really big animal lover, dog lover. Really wanted a dog while I was at college, but kind of tricky when you're in classes. And and then the pandemic hit, though, and turns out I wasn't in classes. So everything went virtual. And so I was actually made the decision to get a puppy while I was there.
What'd you get?
Australian cattle dog. Named him Cowboy.
Okay.
He's too smart for his own good. And he caused a bunch of chaos up there. We had a good time. And then I came home, and our family black lab was having a lot of health issues. He was getting older.
Gotcha.
And so I kind of went down this rabbit hole of finding single ingredient superfoods that I could try and help him just feel better, kind of live out his golden years the best he could. And we actually have before and after pictures on our website of that. And our first product was the dried sea kelp. I found clinical trials on it, all kinds of amazing stuff. This one in blue right here.
Oh, okay.
And at the same time, I was growing Cowboy's Instagram following. He went kind of viral, and so I ended up just asking the people, would you be interested in buying this? Look at the results it's getting our lab, and yeah, that's him right there. And so that's kind of what started our first product.
Amazing.
Wow.
The website is back40dogs.com.
I want to know about the name. Sorry.
Yeah, where did it, Back 40?
For sure. Yep, you got it.
Right.
Yeah, some people know, some people don't. So the Back 40 kind of refers to the remote 40 acres on a large property, a farm, doing work in the Back 40.
Yep.
And our whole thing is to fuel like a farm dog for more memories together, and just kind of like a farm dog would. They didn't have any of these processed foods, none of the fillers, any of this crap that's hurting our dogs.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the name came from.
How hard is it to make a dent in the pet, I guess the pet world, the pet industry?
Yeah, it's obviously very competitive.
Yeah.
A lot of big brands with massive budgets out there, and that's really where social media has kind of allowed us to carve out our niche and through sweat equity and stuff. So
you started selling on Instagram. Is that where you started making your sales?
So we sell on Amazon and our website.
Okay.
So I kind of started to learn the Amazon game a little bit after people saw interest in it on Instagram. And then from there, all of our traffic comes primarily from social media.
Do you run the social media?
I do
now?
right
Nice.
now, yes. Yeah.
Do you get a lot of before and afters from
I do.
consumers and clients?
Definitely. Like the emails I get and the DMs on Instagram of people, like I take screenshots of them every time because, I mean, it's why I started it. Like a dog lover to start with.
Right.
People saying it's made such an impact for their dogs. So it's really cool to see, for sure.
Jack Cole is the founder of Back 40 Dogs, founder and CEO. The website again, back40dogs.com. So is it a completely holistic approach, like all natural ingredients? I want to say organic, but you throw organic around like it's haphazard. But is that your approach as far as your business?
Yeah, definitely. We again, it's like fueling like a farm dog, none of the processed stuff, and we really started with our first 2 products are single ingredient, just to be fully transparent with dog owners, pet parents, and everything. And we've kind of kept that pretty similar. It's either between 1 and 3 ingredients typically.
What are all the products we have here?
Yeah, so kelp was our first product, and then after that, 100% organic pumpkin for digestive health. Then our wild Alaskan fish oil. It's just a blend of salmon and pollock for skin and coat. And then we just launched these 2, the bone broth and the green-lipped mussels. Those were both #1 new releases on Amazon, and we're having a hard time keeping the mussels in stock.
That is awesome. Yeah. I tried the fish oil before the show.
Yeah.
It does.
It's a good moisturizer.
It does.
Looks good. Moisturizes from the inside out.
Yeah.
This is for daily health of dogs, not necessarily once they're sick and you want to get them better. I mean, both, but this would be something that you'd want to implement all the time, right?
Prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah. Well, I like that.
I'm assuming it wasn't a home run for you the first time out. What did you learn about yourself as a business person, businessman, and maybe what kind of spine you had to survive in this type of atmosphere?
Yeah, well, going back to kind of like, I guess, my upbringing, like I said, very entrepreneurial. Like I knew in a way, like this is what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know it would be necessarily a dog supplement company.
Okay.
But every part of my body wanted to own my own business and go this route. So it's really just finally like I tried many things before this. None of them necessarily work, and not necessarily.
What did you try before? Just give us an idea. Ballpark.
Just like I tried like survival backpacks. I stood out in front of REI trying to sell a prototype, and I did it one day. So that was cool. But I was like, this isn't necessarily what I want to keep doing. So we tried drop shipping. I tried blogs, everything online, kind of you could think of.
Okay.
Until we came to one of these, and I think the reason I stuck with this more so was just because of my passion behind the dogs and everything, and I think that's why most people start pet companies, to be honest.
I think most people nowadays, if somebody's laying in the middle of the street, they will step over that person to help an animal.
For sure.
I know, I absolutely am that way. I'm sorry.
Well, and
that's
your fans are very beloved, and they're invested into you, right? So all of your followers are actually really wanting to know your content and really probably engaging with you, right?
Yep, and we try and be as real as we can on social media. We aren't the people like that are doing like the dances on TikTok.
Thank you.
Or any of that stuff. And I think that's kind of refreshing for a lot of people to like
slightly
to just like actually have a connection with someone over the internet trying to do good for dogs. They really like our dogs, and so we're very grateful for everyone on social media. Who's
on Instagram at cowboy_the_cattle_dog.
Yep.
And the_golden_brothers. Is all the info there at back40dogs?
Yeah, you can find it on our website. Pretty much.
How's business? Is it more than you expected, or where are we with the company?
I think you always want it to be more. Just because, if you're getting into the entrepreneurial game, you're probably pretty driven. You want to try and hit high goals that you have for yourself and the business.
Yeah.
And to make our mission is to help 1 million dogs. So that's what we're going for.
Nice.
So cool.
Yeah. And so business is good though. We keep growing every year, doubling, and can't complain with that.
So where are most of your products shipped? Obviously going through Amazon, you know where they're going.
Yep.
So what, who's buying the most?
It's all in the U.S. For the most part.
What state in the U.S.?
I would say
off the top of your head,
Texas and California seem to have the biggest, just probably because their populations are the largest as well.
Yeah,
makes sense.
A lot of Texas people, just because our whole thing is again fuel like a farm dog. I think there's a lot there.
Yeah. Well, in California, you have people that are looking for the healthiest ingredients for their animals and themselves.
Right. Exactly.
So here it's front of mind.
Definitely.
Jack, this is such a awesome story.
It
Come
is.
back and
Congrats.
come back and
Thank
let
you.
us.
Bring dogs the next time.
Yeah,
I'll
let us.
bring Cowboy next time.
Let us do the journey with you, man.
Yeah.
It's inspiring and it's awesome, and it has to do with dogs, which makes it even that more cool. Jack Cole, founder, CEO of Back 40 Dogs. Again, Back 40 Dogs, BACK40dogs.com. Go there, buy the products. Treat your dog better than you're treating them now as far as their supplements are concerned. Thanks for coming in, brother.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
All right,
Jack.
more Big Biz after this.
Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, our affiliates, and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any persons, or that investment in such securities would be profitable in general.
Given the nature of our company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for their securities, and investing is highly speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
3, 2, 1. From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stock if we are speaking about, interviewing, or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyandgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully. Duh.
And read the investor information available on the website.
On the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, at www.sec.gov.
Or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
The Big Biz Show rolls on. Another beautiful day here for the Loft 100 Studios. Thank you for being along with us during the program. When I saw this man's name on the guest list today, I got very, very excited, and I'll explain in just a second. He is the CEO of Vivos Therapeutics. VVOS is their ticker symbol. Find out all about them at VIVOS.com. Their CEO, Kirk Huntsman, back with us here on the Big Biz Show. Kirk, so it's always great for me to spend some time with you because of the change I know that your oral appliance as far as sleep apnea is going to make in my life. In fact, I went yesterday to Dr. Sabine Perp's office, and we have started the process.
I was going to ask if you followed up after the last show.
Yeah.
Nice work.
So, Kirk, is I can't thank you enough for the path you have put me on to finally doing something about my sleep apnea.
Make it happen.
Yeah, I love it.
Well,
speaking of that, the numbers of the people, I guess worldwide, in the United States is staggering when it comes to those affected by sleep apnea, no?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're talking 1 billion people worldwide, probably 70 million plus here in the United States. I mean, it's everywhere. It's just everywhere. So, and the thing of it is, 80% of the people that have it don't know it. And I think that number is probably a little bit low. I think it's probably 90% or more who have the condition and don't know it.
Hey, Kurt, speaking of that, I have a question that could be a dumb question and ties into this. Does everyone who snores have sleep apnea? Or do people have it and not snore?
No, but most people who snore have sleep apnea, but not all people who have sleep apnea snore.
Wow. Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody's snoring, if either you're snoring or your bed partner's snoring, odds are that they've got some type of sleep apnea. And the only way to really tell is to have to take a home sleep test or It used to be you'd have to go over to a sleep lab and do an overnight stay. Those are becoming less common, and it's much more effective, much more efficient to just do a home sleep test. Those can be done for, minimal, usually they're covered by insurance. And, you need to get a prescription from the doctor. But yeah, it's when we do about 75,000 sleep tests a year through our network of providers here in the United States. And we see it's right at about 1 out of 2 people that test positive for OSA.
Kirk Huntsman is the CEO of Vivos Therapeutics. VVOS is their ticker symbol. Vivos, VIVOS.com, all the information about them. Kirk, why Vivos? And because I come from the land of the CPAP and the uncomfortable mask and using it and then saying, I can't do it. It's just too uncomfortable. I'm not sleeping better. I'm not feeling any better. And then you come along with the oral appliance, for lack of a better term, with Vivos, and you're changing the game.
Well, we are. And here's the thing. The problem with sleep apnea is that there have not been, up until now, any real good solutions. I mean, when people hear that they have obstructive sleep apnea, their first question is, okay, well, what now? What do I do? And when somebody says, like, I'm sure at some point somebody said to you, oh, you got to go get this, you have to wear this sexy sleep mask every night. It's not the thing that you want to do. And most people give up on it.
Yes.
And so, and it does work. Now, there's no question that it works. And that's why it's the gold standard of the medical community. But God, nobody wants it. And anybody who has an opportunity to get off of it for something else will try. Now, for many years, probably at least 25, 30 years, dentists have been out there trying to sell everybody on a mandibular advancement device, which mechanically repositions the lower jaw forward. And it does work. The little mandibular advancement devices, they work. But they don't, neither CPAP nor the traditional oral appliances really address the underlying issue. Our technology actually has the effect of repositioning the jaws, making them wider, making them a little more forward, and it opens up the airway. I mean, it's amazing what a little bit of change in the mouth with our oral devices can do for an airway. Patients are in and out of treatment in about 12 months. So it's not a lifetime ordeal. But the big news this week, Mike, I don't know if you heard, I sent a link over to your producers. I don't know if you guys can throw it up there, but yesterday, Apple made a huge announcement that their Apple Watch can now detect obstructive sleep apnea.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So this is huge. This is because remember, 80% of people who have sleep apnea are undetected. They don't know it. They're sleeping through it every night.
Yep. Wow.
And they don't realize when they wake up in the morning and they feel groggy and they don't feel like they just feel like they had a workout all night. It's because they're not getting that deep sleep. And so now that Apple has embraced this, so what this means is that the millions of Apple Watch users can now track their sleep apnea, identify their sleep apnea, get reports, and they're FDA cleared. So this is a really, really big deal, because what is the catalyst for Vivos's growth is people recognizing that they have sleep apnea and then coming to that realization, okay, I need to do something about it.
Yep. And Kirk, sorry. What is the current addressable market right now?
Well, we put it at about $24 billion. But we're about to launch into another segment, a specific segment that may rival that in size. And we're waiting on an FDA clearance. We think it's pretty close. We don't know. You never know with these things. But the sleep apnea market for what we do and the way we do it is in the tens of billions. And so and nobody has the clearance that we got last November for an oral appliance device to treat severe sleep apnea, which is where the worst sort of comorbidities, the severe cardiovascular disease, the heart attack, all that stuff happens at the moderate to severe level, and other oral appliances are just not cleared for that. So we have the only technology other than a CPAP or a surgery that can actually do that, and that's what makes this really differentiated and disruptive.
He is the CEO of Vivos Therapeutics, Kirk Huntsman, back with us here on the Big Biz Show. VVOS is the stock symbol. The website is vivos.com.
Kirk, you just touched upon medical health risk, and I wanted to talk to you about the health risks of sleep apnea, because I hear people say you could die from it. And is that dramatic, or, what are the various things that people could suffer from instead of just being punched by their partner because they're snoring so loud?
Yeah, so other than the rib damage, so if you're moderate to severe, sleep apnea will take, it's known to take up to 10 years off your life. Wow. So your life expectancy drops by 10 years.
Kirk, always appreciate the time, and from on a personal note, thank you for what you're doing for me and the path you are taking me down with Vivos Therapeutics. Obviously, we will visit again. Great to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
CEO, founder of Vivos Therapeutics, vivos.com, stock symbol VVOS. More Big Biz after this. It is. If you're watching, wherever you are listening, we always appreciate you being along for the ride. The handsome guy talking to you right now, that's me. I'm Costa. You're welcome, America and the world. That's Greg Todorov, our executive producer.
Are you? Do you put the Costa are you like? What is your 23andMe heritage?
DNA? I'm Scotch Italian. And a little.
That's one thing you don't see very often. I order a thing of plate lasagna and a Scotch neat.
Yeah, I'm cheap, but I'll kill you.
Right.
Wait a minute. You're Scotch and Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're thrifty.
Yeah.
All right. Remember
steels from Nebraska. What? Pretty good. That's a pretty good Scotch, right?
I need Scotch now.
It's a little.
Just.
Okay, I'll just
let it go to the ether.
Yeah, let it percolate. Sorry, I'm sorry. There's no going.
But I want to know. Like you said, I'm drunk, but I steal from you. Is that what you said?
I'm cheap.
Oh,
and I'll kill you.
Oh,
yeah, you were close, Sully.
Two of the four sins. I'm sorry. My bad.
That's Irish and French.
Yeah. Okay. This is Jonathan Javitt, of course, good friend of the program, founder, director, chief scientific officer, and now chairman of the board of a company called NRX Pharmaceuticals. We've talked about suicidal ideation. You're going to see their Bizumentary. Yes, thanks. I get paid a nickel every time somebody says it on TV.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The Bizumentary is coming out here on BizTV as well as on Bloomberg and potentially coming up on Bravo. Or I beg your pardon. Bravo? There's Ovation. Bravo. Ovation, right?
Bravo.
See how I get mixed?
Both great.
Long story short is, we have a pretty good press release and things are moving forward. We've talked to Mike Taylor, our financial expert, about Hope Therapeutics and what's coming from that. News keeps getting better for NRX, and guess who I got? Because we're important. Jonathan Javitt's here. What's up, bud? Great to see you. Hey,
it's been a busy week.
It's been busy. Let's talk about, I want you to take it away because it's some pretty good news today in the market in terms of investors believing in NRX by putting in some money into the company. Talk about that.
Well, we're excited that one of the better and more thoughtful biotech funds out there, Anson Funds of Toronto, chose to bring in what will be between $10.5 and $16 million in convertible debt, and that's enough to get our drugs filed with the FDA.
It's interesting. We were talking about this the other day with Mike Taylor, who's a financial expert on the program, who I know you're familiar with, saying that it's a different type of investor that takes literally the long soak. Mm-hmm. It's a fishing term. Thank you very much. Let's talk hookup. But it's a 7-year turnaround oftentimes for a startup investor into a biopharma firm, because you got to go through FDA and you got to go through the bells and whistles. And oftentimes you got to raise money in between. So it's not a small task for a company like yours to go raise money. And it's a testimony to investors believing in what you're doing. So that's some good news.
Well, and in our case, it's been a brutal task. We started this company in 2015, and I went and saw the usual venture capitalists, and they all asked me the same question, which is what keeps you up at night. And I'd always have the same answer, which is, well, I worked on the SARS epidemic in the Bush administration, and a global pandemic would be really bad for our business. And because we're making the drug in Shanghai, which we're not doing anymore, a trade war with China would be really bad for our business. And they would all laugh. Well, it turns out we got both of those. And we survived both of those. And now we've got drugs that are ready to file with FDA and hopefully be on the market in 2025. So it's an exciting time for us.
Hey, Dr. Javitt, 2 questions for you in terms, I want to get to the drugs in a second, but I want to talk about, you talk about 2025. Do you expect to take this to market to yourselves, or do we do what they call that risk aversion model and have a larger bio firm come in, pick up the ball, take it to the finish line, and you're working on your next drug? Can you share what your thoughts are on that?
Certainly for ketamine, which is a drug that's not a home use drug, it's a drug that's going to be given in clinics. We know who those clinics are. We're already working with those clinics, and through our Hope Therapeutics division, we expect to own some of those clinics. So when you've got a potential customer base that's under 1,000 people, there's no reason to work with a large pharmaceutical company. They can't really address a market that small, that compact, very readily. So we're certainly going to do that by ourselves. Now, our second drug, NRX 101, that's anticipated to be a home use drug, is one that'll likely be prescribed by fewer than 1,600 psychiatrists in the United States. And that, too, is a footprint that a small company can address, although a highly motivated partner would be great to have.
So, in my opinion, for you, you now have runway to complete the drug task, and then let's bring up Hope Therapeutics, because I think that's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Can you share on that, where this puts us now?
Well, we have runway, we have a motivated investor, and we've got data that keeps getting better. So we've been talking about data that we're going to be presenting to FDA from about 1,000 patients, showing that ketamine is better than placebo, it's better than active comparator, it's as good as electroshock therapy for treating people with suicidal depression. Well, just this week, a study of approximately 43,000 patients, not randomized and prospective the way the FDA wants, but an observational study, what's called a cohort study, was published in a leading journal, showing exactly the same effect for ketamine in reducing suicidal ideation and depression. So we have a drug that patients need, that's rapidly becoming the standard of care. That's a life-saving drug, and that's an exciting place to be.
Dr. Jonathan Javitt, Founder, Director, Chief Scientific Officer, NRX Pharmaceuticals, on the
Not
NASDAQ.
to mention Chairman of the Board.
Chairman of the Board, excuse me, sir. Also NASDAQ, NRXP.
Howie, you got a question?
Dr. Javitt, pleasure to see you, sir. Congratulations on the deal. How important is it? I noticed that Anson Funds came out with a very strong statement saying, we believe in the science, we believe in the long-term vision. How much more efficiently are you operating with a partner rather than, someone that wants a deal done quickly?
Well, I think that it's a challenge in this market to find an investor who's committed to long-term success and not just committed to how quickly can we churn the stock. As we've all seen, there are too many technical investors, and we've suffered from some of those. But the problem in the biotech market is investors who are going to take a long view, who are in the company to make patients' lives better.
And
not to be out next month.
I think the story is that after today's deal, you're past that. Well, maybe everyone else isn't.
I would agree. Yeah. There you go. Big Biz Show. Dr. Jonathan Javitt, Chairman of the Board, CEO, Chief Scientific Officer, Director of NRX Pharma. That's some good news. You will look for the Bizumentary on NRX and Suicidal Ideation coming right here on BizTV. More Big Biz coming up tomorrow. See you there.